I already gave out a lot of player props for today, including this one where I'm betting 250 to win 5K. So to 20 times your money on Underdog Fantasy, you just need to win 5 picks. And I've been able to find a lot of value on this platform. I mean, what I say all the time is what I'm making videos about, whether it's PrizePicks, whatever it is, they're just the platforms I'm using and I'm finding value on. So when we're playing on Underdog Fantasy, we've gone through this before, but you really want to go with 3-pick or 5-pick entries, and that's because the implied juice is the best. So basically, I don't want to find 2 picks, right? I don't want to find 1 pick. You can't just place 1 pick on Underdog Fantasy. You need to find at least 2, but you should be finding 3. So my job is like, okay, how do I find 3 sharp picks? So I'm following the line movements and I'm looking for value. And I'll show you the first pick I'm on, Caleb Martin. His over-under on Underdog Fantasy is 12.5 points. FanDuel, every sports book has his line at 11.5. So there's value on the under. I mean, people don't understand that sports betting is the reason it's so profitable. It can be so profitable and is so easy is all these sports books, they set lines independently, right? So we can treat all these sports books as independent data points of where the line should be set and look for value, right? So when every sports book is like, yo, this point total should be at 11.5, right? Or 6.5 on Superbook, no way. Right? And we can get under 12.5 on Underdog Fantasy. We just know that's a no-brainer play. Now, next play, Carter, over 7.5 in the Grizzlies-Bucks game. You can see a lot of sportsbooks have the over 8.5 favored, right? It's free to browse odds, kind of in this view on OddsJam. And, just like looking around, whatever game, whatever sport you want to look at, you're hunting for value. If you want to make money sports betting, you're like an investor, right? You're like a day trader. You're hunting through the market looking for inefficiencies. Frickin' Caesars has Carter over 8.5 at -131, right? We're getting this -122 in a 3-pick entry and a full point better, which is really impactful. If he has 4 buckets, we're winning if he has 8 points. Everyone else who bets the over is losing. DraftKings has this -105. Every sportsbook has a line at 8.5. There's very clear value on Carter, right? You want to take that over for sure. So that's the first play I went with, or the second play I went with. Then what I went with, this is probably the best play I have. So let's just look him up. Mike Giuseppe. His receptions line is over under 2 on Underdog Fantasy. All the sports books have him at 1.5. I mean, that's a huge deal, right? It's not like this is an NBA point total at 200 and we're finding value getting 201 points and we're taking the under. This is 2 versus 1.5. This guy, in probably all of his NFL games has 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 receptions. Or at least in most of his NFL games. That's the bulk of the distribution. I mean, his receptions line is already so low. It's at over under 1.5. So 0, 1, 2, and 3 are probably like 80% of his distribution. So being able to get under 2 when all the books and PrizePicks are setting this at 1.5 is an absolute no-brainer. I mean, you got to be on it. If he has 2 receptions, we push. Everybody else loses, right? And the entire point of OddsJam is to make this data actionable. There's millions of odds on sportsbooks, on Underdog Fantasy, and most of these plays suck, right? They're not profitable due to the vig or the juice, the spread the sportsbook charges. But as data-driven sharp bettors, we know we don't need 10,000 bets. I just need 3 picks on Underdog Fantasy to form a profitable entry. So here's an absolute no-brainer. So it's about using the various OddsJam betting tools to find value. And it's free to browse odds, so you can just do that manually and find soft spots like this with Carter, or you can use the EV tool, right? So, another play, or the final 2 plays I'm on are right here. Giannis over 5.5 assists, Jalen Hurts under 8.5 rushing attempts. So the EV tool is different than the screen, and the reason for that is the screen, right, makes it possible. So here you can see every sports book Bet Online, Sharp Offshore Sportsbook, they're all pricing this like minus 150. We're getting it minus 122, no brainer. So the screen makes it possible to find plays like Giuseppe, where it's 2 versus 1.5. I mean, I literally just scan. You're like a day trader. You got to move fast. Great lines don't last forever. So you're hunting through the market. Where's value? Where's value? Ooh, lines are moving. Look at this. Lines are moving all over Bet365, right? But what the EV tool does is it lets you compare lines set at the same level. So we went over this play previously, but Geno Smith under 1.5 passing TDs, it's like, wow, all the sports books have this as a heavy favorite. We can get it minus 122. No brainer. So data-driven sports betting, you're not smarter than the market. The market encompasses all available opinions. I have 5 picks to win $2,000. Giannis over 5.5 assists. Carter over 7.5 points. Hurts under 8.5 rushing attempts. Martin under 12.5 points. Giuseppe under 2 receptions. Let's make money.